What's up, Balance Nation? I got a surprise live stream for you today. Good morning. It is Wednesday, June 3rd. And of course, I did a live stream yesterday talking about the Blackout Tuesday crap. So is today Whiteout Wednesday? Is this where we just keep whiting out the fact that, the looters and stuff are murdering people? Anyway, so listen, guys, we are going to get into this racism and Black Lives Matter stuff and what we see going on out there a little bit more. I want to give you guys some tremendous hope and comfort because I see what's going on here in the background. So I'm going to give you guys the heads up before anybody else starts talking about it because I'm blessed enough to have some back channels that they asked me not to talk about it, but now that it's out in the media, I can go ahead and talk about it. So anyways, saw it coming, couldn't tell you earlier, but now I'm going to talk to you about it because the hammer is getting ready to drop and we're going to put an end to these protesting terrorists. So let's get into it. All right, so let's have some fun, you guys. All right, so let me tee this up so that way we can kind of get into it. Let me see, get a little more studio lighting here. Does that make me look better? There you go. All right. So check this out. So yesterday, of course, you guys all saw the lockstep leftist, induced trick of suckering everybody who isn't woke or aware or has done any of their own research into putting that black square on their social media as if that's going to do anything whatsoever. So you had all these people who I'll even go into, dare I say, that they probably had in their hearts good intentions, okay? But see, you can't have good intentions and have a get out of jail free card on your actions, okay? The bottom line is you need to do things based upon your personal research and understanding. That's really what it comes down to, okay? So yesterday, I systematically went through all of my social media, and anybody who had that black square, I just dumped them. Boom. I just unfollowed and kicked them and booted them. Now, here's the reason why I chose to do that. I gave lots of thought before I did it. Not that it really matters, like, ooh, you unfriended them, or oh, you stopped following them on Instagram. There's no power there. What it is, it was my mechanism of preserving my mental health because that's what I do. Balanced Protocol is about really rocking the four factors of your environment, your lifestyle, your mindset, and your nutrition. So this is why I talk about some of these issues in the day. I love religion, I love politics, and I love nutrition. Those are the three taboos, right? My mom always used to say, "Son, well, whatever you do, whenever you're in parties or groups or stuff like that, don't talk about religion or politics because you'll lose a lot of friends." I'm like, great, Mom, good. I love those things. So there's now the third taboo, which is nutrition. Right? It is become a religion for a lot of people. So anyways, I love to talk about those three things. That's what Balance, if you guys are just new to Balance Nation here, know that that's what I do. I'm not always going to talk about politics stuff. I am an equal opportunity critic. I criticize and judge the hell out of people. That's what I do. I invite you to criticize and judge the hell out of me. It's all fair game. Okay, all is fair in love and war and social media. Okay, so this is free speech at its greatest. Everything I share with you here is of my personal opinion based upon my own discovery and belief. Don't believe me, go do your research and so forth. If you're here in Balance Nation, I've had a disclosure statement in the group over there. You can click it on the left and you can see what I've said out there at the end of this video. I run a reel of disclosures. Now, the reason why I do that is because I'm going to reveal to you guys some things and people today that I think are great examples of the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to this kind of fun stuff, because I want to give you guys information and examples so that way you can adjust yourself accordingly. Okay, so we're going to get into it. So here's the thing, okay? It's very difficult times that we're in, but this is all part of the process, okay? And just so you guys know, some people say, trust the plan, it's the process. I don't subscribe to Q and all that other kind of fun stuff. Are there some things that are true? Yes. Are there some things that are false? I'm still questioning that whole thing. So though I might use similar vernacular, I'm not saying trust the plan. What I'm saying is I know history, data, and precedent. And I believe that we have people in management of the country that do have our best interest at heart when it comes to certain things. Other things, they're just FUBAR. If you know what FUBAR is, go search FUBAR. And I am not affiliated with any political party or any religious organization. I'm no member of any church. I'm no member of any organization other than the NRA. I'm definitely a member there, but they're even stupid internally. Oh my God, they got infected, a bunch of stupid people. But anyways, my point is I am a free and independent person in every way, shape, or form. That's always going to be my call to you guys to do as well. Free yourself up of all that kind of stuff. Okay, you can hold two opposing positions or thoughts at the same time. That's brilliance and enlightenment. And I am able to do that, okay? But I'm also painfully and woefully, wantingly me, and I'm fine with it. I have an ego and I'm proud of it, okay? I'm confident. I have the highest level of self-esteem, okay? The bottom line is that's because I do my due diligence and my research, okay? I encourage everyone to have internal fortitude of self. And how you do that is by research and getting a balanced understanding and look at all positions, okay? Don't just go on what you're fed through TV programming that's watching channels that channels into your brain, okay? That's what that is. So I'm able to see through things. The vast majority of people who align with the fascists known as anti-fascists, or the Antifa people, and the racists known as Black Lives Matter, okay? And there are things out there called leftists, okay? They are socialists, who really means communist, period. Socialism always equals communism. It's just a means to an end, okay? It's like a lighter to a cigarette, okay? The lighter is socialism, the cigarette is the communism, okay? That's the whole reason why you light it up. The thing is, for me, is then you have the term liberal progressive. It's a vile ideology. The left and all those people, they love to use wordsmithing. They use it like progressive. Well, you don't want any progress. It has nothing to do with forward movement or progress. That's not what that is. It's very wordsmithy. The left loves to do that because what you need to do is you need to get into their rule book. It's called Rules for Radicals, okay, by Alinsky. So if you go and you read those, and maybe I'll do a video on that next time, but if you understand, it's written, right? In other words, they give guidelines, like just like Antifa has a handbook. They teach these mobs, these idiots, these useful idiots to do certain things. That's what they do, okay? And so they're published. Go fact check that. Go look at it, okay? Because you also have to fact check the fact checkers, okay? You are your best fact checker, but don't just do a Google search and stay on page one. You got to go deep in placement because remember, all of those people have to pay for placement in your searching. Okay, you really start getting into good stuff when you start getting into past page 3, 4, and 5, right in there of internet searches. That's what you really got to do, and it takes some time. And a lot of people say, "I ain't got time for that." Well, I'll just listen to what Dr. AGB has to say. Don't do that. Don't just listen to me. You have to get all the sides and do it, or shut the flip up because you're just a sheep, and that sheep are controlled. They're protected by what? Sheepdogs like me. Bow, wow, wow. Okay? So here's the thing. We're seeing a lot of stuff going on. And what you have to do is when things like this happen, you have to ask who is instigating it. Okay? So yes, we all agree and saw the murder of George Floyd. It was grotesque. It was terrible. It was saddening. It, hurts. Now, I know some people don't believe it, and I'm still exploring that idea, right? Did George Floyd actually still get killed? And I'll be, oh my God, I can't believe you. I don't even question that. If you do that, you're wrong. And that indicates that you are controllable. If you freak out when someone says something and you say, oh, well, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Well, you are an idiot. You're an absolute buffoon. You're not an intellectual, and you're just a dumbass. Plain and simple. Anytime someone presents something to me, it doesn't matter how appalling it is, I'm going to go, why would they think that? Like there's a picture going around now of the officer, and I don't ever say his name, who was the one whose knee was on the neck, one of 4 people who murdered George Floyd. And they're comparing and saying he's the cash cab actor. Have you guys seen this? Holy crap. That's racist as hell. Okay, so some other white guy, you know, we all look alike, right? All us white folk. So the cash cab guy, because he's bald and has that weird shaped nose, but I can't, that's the one thing. But I looked at it, I was like, let's look at this. I said, what are they thinking? One of the things you guys can do on that, if you guys are buying into that stupid picture that's out there of people saying that the police guy murdered somebody because it was the cash cab guy and whatever. So my point is this: go look at the full video of after George Floyd's lifeless body was put onto a stretcher, and you see the guy who was on his neck walk away. He doesn't even have the body height or shape that the cash cab guy has. Okay, so enough on that. See, that's what I'm saying. I had to go, right? I didn't just go, oh, that's baloney. I was like, well, let's look. Okay. I looked enough, and it ain't the cash cab guy. So that's the stuff that muddles it, and I understand how difficult that kind of stuff can be. Okay, so here's the funny thing. And I use these terms funny. I don't mean funny like when you're saying it's funny. No, it's not funny. It's interesting, right? It's odd. Okay, so here we have all these situations where bricks are being dropped off randomly. And if you guys haven't seen this, well then holy smokes. You know what I'm saying? You got to really realize that there's a lot of this going on, okay? This is on purpose, okay? This is somebody bought and paid for and delivered these around to different cities. Even people on social media are posting it and showing it. Look at these bricks. It's everywhere, okay? This is not, fake news. This is true stuff. There's plenty of it out there that substantiates it, that everywhere across the United States, people bought pallets of bricks and had them dropped off and delivered to various areas, okay? That's an absolute fact, okay? Okay, I've looked it up, and that's how that is, okay? That means it proves that this is an orchestrated, planned, and logistically supported thing. Right now, think of it. If you had to go get a pallet of bricks to build a wall or a koi pond, which I'm going to be doing here in a couple of months, you have to go and do what to get a pallet of bricks? Okay, where are you going to get a pallet of bricks? Okay, and the logistics have to do that and pay for it. So I believe we're going to find out who did those. Okay, we're going to find out. I suspect, right? So I suspect, I don't have any proof of invoices or receipts, but I'm going to speculate because I look at the people behind it, okay? So whenever there is a situation where a black person is killed, murdered, or assaulted by a white individual, all of the left just gets all crazy, okay? Let me give you an example of what you don't ever hear about, okay? And, the thing is that you guys probably didn't know this, but a couple years ago, this African-American, and the reason why I say African-American is because he's from Somali, so he was an immigrant, okay? And he's actually from Africa, so he's an African-American, okay? That term is patronizing, and I think it's a bullshit term, okay? Just like I don't expect people to call me Irish-American, okay? My ancestors were from Ireland. My ancestor who was a slave and shackled to a ship and shipped over here to the United States was Scottish, okay? But I am not Irish American, I'm an American, okay? You can say white, that's fine. You can say Caucasian, fine. I don't freaking care, okay? Just like I have all kinds of letters at the end of my name and I just put the DR at the front. It's a lot easier, okay? So here's the deal. Minneapolis police officer convicted of murder for shooting an Australian woman, okay? So cops make bad decisions. This is the New York Times, by the way. You can go look up the story by looking up the headline. Okay, this was April of last year. Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, he murdered her, shot her in an alleyway in her pajamas. Okay, said that and she's the one who actually called the police. Go look at the story. So he shows up, kills her. She's in her pajamas just a couple of weeks before she's supposed to get married, okay? And guess what? People did what? They marched and they protested and stuff like that, okay? And then you can go read through all of these stories and so forth and so on, okay? But did the world get national attention about it? When it happened, did you see people rioting in the streets and burning things down? Well, of course not. See, this is a police problem, but yet I support the police, those who uphold their oath to the Constitution, okay? I know that police have terrible training across the board. everywhere. And one of the reasons that is, okay, is because they're not held accountable and they have that qualified immunity. Guess what else is another problem? Well, there's another leftist, socialist, Democrat type institution that influences cops. And you know what they're called? They're called unions. Okay? Cops have no business having unions. They are civil servants. They work for us. Okay? We elect the mayors, and the mayors govern the police forces. Okay? They should be governed by the electors. That would be us. I don't use the term taxpayers because, yes, I pay a lot of taxes. I'm in the highest tax bracket, unfortunately. But the thing about it is that we have the ability to change that. You've got to get rid of the unions. The unions are the ones that blue shield. The unions, as supported by Democrats, as supported by leftists, socialists, progressives, they support unions. That's how they exert control. And they determine what these cops get trained or not and how they're protected or not. That's a problem. So if you want to know about a solution, you have to go over to and look at these unions that are controlling these police, period. Okay. So point is this. Cops do stupid crap. They kill people. Okay. Far more whites are killed by cops, and black cops at that, than white cops kill non-whites. Fact, fact, triple fact. Okay. Don't believe me, go look it up. Okay, FBI, Uniform Crime Statistics, and the datas of that. Statistica.com, there's a lot of places you can go look it up. Here's how you can always know if someone's lying to you or not. They tell you what to think and what it is and say it's a fact, and that's it. If the person says, don't believe me, that's what I do, go look it up for yourself. Go check it. Now, you can take numbers and you can manipulate the statistics. Go look at the raw numbers. That's what they do with climate change. Every single person who thinks the climate is warming has never gone and looked at the raw data. Ask yourself, and I know you're probably out there watching, if you are a climate change espouser, because I'm a climate change denier, okay? I guarantee you, I bet you $100,000 that you never went and looked and fumbled through all the exhaustive raw data and looked at it yourself. I have, and that's how I know better, okay? Same thing when it comes to anything that I'm sharing with you, okay? So that kind of stuff happens. The upshot is who is behind this kind of stuff, okay? This is why I didn't jump behind that stupid black square on social media, okay? One of the people that I follow who does a fantastic job on this narrative, and I'm going to play his clip and give you my little commentary, okay, is this amazing, intelligent man named David J. Harris Jr., great person to follow, okay? And here's his little message about it yesterday on IGTV. This is what he says, okay?
Friends, I have just about had an absolute enough of all this nonsense that so many people are buying into. Are you kidding me? This so-called Blackout Tuesday. I've seen so many of my friends posting all black posts and then talking about how Black Lives Matter and hashtagging it. You're being duped, just like all of us are being duped that any of these riots have anything whatsoever to do with the death of George Floyd. They've got nothing to do with the death of George Floyd. They've got everything to do with anarchists.
And that's exactly correct. That's my point of this video today. These protests and the little black square on your social media is about anarchy. It's about these people that I've been talking about since the beginning of this live stream. If you do that, you're culpable. You're right there with them. You didn't know. You put on the swastika and you weren't aware of it. You just thought it was a cool little symbol of power, that was out there anciently before, the Nazis usurped it. That's a true fact too, by the way. But here's the thing. You've been duped. You're a sucker. And here's what you need to do. You need to let all your friends and family and colleagues and whatever know that as well. Share this video with them. If you want to do that, send them over to youtube.com/balance protocol, and they can watch this video and see what my hypothesis I'm sharing with you is. Okay? Let's get back to my buddy David.
Individuals that are hijacking the death, absolutely disgracing the death and the memory of George Floyd. These riots have nothing to do with it. And for you that are virtual signal, I've got some good, well-meaning white friends of mine that feel it's their duty, it's their obligation to make these posts and say Black Lives Matter. You're feeling white guilt for no reason as a member of the black community. Can I tell you something? You're not doing me or anybody in the black community any favors by posting an all-black post and hashtagging Black Lives Matter. You know what?
You see, and that's the thing. That's virtue signaling. It's a crock of crap, you know? And I follow other people on social media. I've sons doing, but I'm going to give you an example of one guy that just, chaps my rump, okay? This Chris Winfield guy, he's supposedly the super connector, right? This is a guy who basically, if you want to learn how to go and be on TV and get press, even though you have no credentials, even though you have no skin in the game, even though you have no thing, you just have pronounced yourself as an expert. What you do is you go and pay him several thousands of dollars, and then he'll have you the challenge to be on TV, and he makes his calls, and then he'll put you on TV. Okay. So here's the thing. Yesterday, of course, he did his little black square. Okay. So let me show you this. All right. So this is Chris Winfield. Okay. He is the super connector. And that's the whole point. This stuff is a good example of this. And the reason why I'm using him as an example, because upon my personal experience and belief, I have a knowledge history of this guy and what he does to people. I've been directly affected by it, but I won't get into that, okay? Because there's lawsuits involved. So here's the thing. So you see this little virtue signal, black signal, but see, that wasn't enough. So what they had to do today is he had to clarify, right? So that, this is the stuff in the Facebook groups, and we're sickened to watch the brutal, senseless murder of George Floyd, so forth and so on. Yeah, we're all sick and disgusted and saddened, okay? But here's the thing, that's not enough. Well, guess what? Look at his feed, okay? So he felt the need to go and do all this explaining that they've been listening and so forth and so on, all that kind of stuff. Let's be clear, we're anti-racist, Black Lives Matter, full stop, okay? This community is a space, also open space for discussion. Okay, great. This is why I'm going to use you as a discussion, Chris. Okay, it's not a place for hate or violence of any kind. That's fantastic. Good job. Okay, we don't need to make those statements, and everyone knows implicitly where we stand. Okay, but here's the problem. Okay, you've never done any of that before in your damn life. In your entire post, had anything to do with the black community. Nothing. Okay, that's it. Okay, this guy is part of the cabal, by the way, that I call it. That's my opinion, my word, okay? The leftist socialist stuff. Matter of fact, look at this post here, okay? Show up and serve for white coaches. So just days before, okay, he's perpetrating racism. You shouldn't go telling people how to be a white coach. Are you freaking kidding me? This is what I'm talking about. It's a disgusting display of that kind of stuff. Instagram is filled with all these leftist folks, okay? So let's come back here to my buddy David, okay?
Friends, I have just about had an absolute enough. Lives matter. You know what? All lives matter. But let me just make it really clear so that you're all aware of what Black Lives Matter really stands for. They would love to defund police stations. Is that really what you're for? Do you really want to defund the police department? Because please tell me, who are you going to call when somebody comes busting down your door, wanting to loot and riot in your house and take everything you got and maybe do even more? You're going to call the police. You're going to want to call the police. Well, Blue Lives Matter. You know what else they're for? They're for voting rights for illegals. Now, again, I am for anybody coming to this country, but do it legally.
Okay, so you see that? Those of you who put up the black square in support of Black Lives Matter, did you know that they want to defund the police? They just want the police to be gone away. Do you know that they want everybody just released from jail? That's what they want. They want voting rights for people who are not citizens of the country, who broke the law. Did you know that? Of course you didn't. You're just virtue signaling. You just wanted to go and say, hey, look how cool I am and supporting black people from the comfort of my home, eating, my stuff and all this other kind of jazz. Okay? It's grotesque. It's an absolute BS premise 100%.
Anybody that breaks in, whether it's a store or breaks into a country, shouldn't have any rights whatsoever. And illegal aliens do not deserve rights in this country, and that's exactly what the Democrats would love. That's what Black Lives Matter would love. You know what else they're for? They're for reparations. Oh, because poor old me was born with dark skin, I now need the white man to help me get by. Are you kidding me? No, you.
So listen, go check him out. You could do that. The bottom line is he gives a great 5-minute narrative of just showing how stupid and ridiculous this Blackout Tuesday was. Okay? You guys got to realize that this is the kind of stuff that's okay to talk about. Okay? That's the upshot of it, 10 days to Sunday. All right? It is a ruse. Now, here's the funny thing. Okay? And I say funny, I just go BS. I was flipping through other stuff, and here's what I found, right? So did you guys know that this dude right here, who's obviously Hispanic, we're going to start naming races and stuff, right? Not white, shot a police officer in the back of the head in Las Vegas for the riots. And you know what they did? Look right there in the highlighted yellow area. They listed him as white. Edgar Samaniego. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying? This is the stuff that people don't get, is that it is a concentrated, concerted effort to misinformation. This dude here, okay, killed a police officer, okay, shot him in the back of the head. Should we go and talk about what color the police is? Tell you what, how about you go look it up? Go ahead. Oh, wait. Listed as white. That's propaganda. That's what I'm talking about. This is what we're up against, okay? So, here's the deal. This is who funds this stuff. The person who sends the money, who buys the bricks, is what I am postulating. This is what I'm suspecting. I'm open to conversation as to the otherwise, okay? Let's go ahead and hear what Hillary Clinton has to say about this individual.
Not enough for America's future that some participate and others don't. We have been given an extraordinary blessing, and at this moment in time, our country needs us. And we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts. So please join me in welcoming George Soros.
Okay, so here's the thing. This guy is not a citizen of our country who actually, go look it up, bought and paid for, owns the polling digital devices. It's not conspiracy. It's a fact. Go look it up. Talk about meddling in our elections. If you don't know who George Soros is, well, then you've probably been living under a rock. Come out, get in the sunshine, get earth, have a nice drink of water, and go look it up, okay? These things are readily available, okay, to take a look at and see some of this stuff, like these quotes that he says. You can go find these, okay? I'm going to bring down the United States by funding black hate groups. See that right down there? Okay? Go look them up, all right? Simple and easy. Now, here's the interesting thing, okay? So you've got that stuff, and then people are like, well, if you look up George Soros on the first pages of Google, you're going to get fact-checking stuff from Snopes, from Vox, and all the other liberal, progressive, leftist, socialist, communist dirt rags, okay? Now, here's the interesting thing. I will give you an example, okay? Here's what it is. So you go to look and fact check, do what I'm encouraging you to do, and they'll say that he's not a Nazi, and it's in how it is explained. This is a propaganda piece, okay, from a couple years ago. But they don't explain it away. Okay, now this is true. This isn't a picture of George Soros. You guys see that out there all the time about him being dressed in the Nazi uniform. That's not him. That's a different dude. But this is one of the greatest ones here. That's a reveal. Is he was on 60 Minutes. Okay, and then of course Dinesh D'Souza, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but anyways, they're trying to say that he didn't do what he did. Okay, well then here's the deal. Look at this right off the bat. Here's George Soros shaking the hands of the CEO of Snopes, supposedly. Okay? Okay, so Snopes has no employees and its owner has zero investigative research experience, and Facebook's hired him to fact check and things like that. Okay? So go look and just look at these fact checking places and look and see, do your investigative journalism, and look and see who they're rubbing elbows with and things like that. Taking a picture with someone is not convictable enough, but I want you to understand where the information mill comes from, okay? The bottom line here is understanding what these people say, okay? So, of course, there's an interview here with Dinesh D'Souza talking about George Soros, and Snopes and Vox said that this was not true.
Well, here is a little tiny anecdote that I think I was delighted to uncover. George Soros, the big philanthropist who funds a lot of these anti-fascist groups, he just gave $50,000 to the group called Refuse Fascism, and he poses as a champion of what he calls the open society. Well, I found a very interesting interview that he did with Steve Kroft of CBS.
Okay, so in case you didn't know, open society, okay, that's what it's about. They want a one world country and a one world government. Okay, that's what they want. Okay, that's the objective here. Okay, so here's what you can do: go take a look and go read for yourself. Okay, that's what these are. All right. So the Open Society Foundation's work to build vibrant and inclusive democracies whose governments are accountable to their citizens. So this is a group that goes and leverages people. They meddle and they do nation building and stuff like that. Okay, that's what they do. Going up here and click on who we are. Okay, Open Society Foundations, funded by George Soros, are the world's largest private funder of independent groups working for justice, democratic governance, and human rights. Okay, that's what this is. So yes, he is a funder of this. What is the objective? Okay, the objective from this douchebag, okay, and his son are to create anarchy. So that way people can experience what we're experiencing so they can present the fix. And the fix is socialism under the ruse of democracy. Okay, that's what that is. There's no getting around it, okay? So what I want to do is I'm going to queue up here the statement of George Soros, because supposedly he's not, a former Nazi. Yes, he is. Out of his own mouth. Here we go.
Retraining the old Soviet military.
At the center of George Soros, there's an inherent contradiction. Which is, on one hand, you're the capitalist who does not care about the social consequences of his act, and on the other hand, you are a philanthropist who cares only about social consequences. How do you resolve the two?
Recognizing that as a competitor, I've got to compete to win. As a human being, I am concerned about the society in which I live.
Which George Soros am I talking to now? The amoral George Soros or the moral George Soros?
It's one person. It's one person who at one time engages in amoral activities and at the rest of the time tries to be moral.
Okay, so you see that? There's never a time where I engage in amoral activities. And he tries to be moral the other times, okay? We're going to get in here to George Soros a little bit more because you guys need to know. I found out that a lot of people just didn't understand what was going on with this kind of stuff, okay? George Soros, his history explains a lot, okay? Open Society Foundations is atheist. They do not want any religion in the world at all. They are absolute, unequivocal, okay, against God or whatever God you worship. They don't like any of it. They want complete atheism, and that's a fact. Go look it up, okay? But let's look more at George Soros, okay?
To understand the complexities and contradictions in his personality, you have to go back to the very beginning, to Budapest, where George Soros was born 68 years ago to parents who were wealthy, well-educated, and Jewish.
When the Nazis occupied Budapest in 1944, George Soros' father was a successful lawyer. He lived on an island in the Danube and liked to commute to work in a rowboat. But knowing...
So here's the thing. George Soros is of Jewish descent. Do not get that confused with Jewish religion. It's not the same. George Soros is what is called a Zionist. Go look it up, okay? It's atheist Jews, ones that do not practice Judaism, okay? This is not anti-Semitic, okay? None of that bull crap. Don't even try to come at me like that. Same thing like with racism. Jesus. The bottom line here is this. George Soros is an atheist. The bottom line is He has an agenda, and you got to get into it and understand why. This tells you why these things are happening in the United States. It's telling you why it happened over in the UK. It explains to you why it happened in France. It is a deployment of a fascist atheist group, okay? That's who is behind these things, okay?
Decided to split his family up. He bought them forged papers, and he bribed a government official to take 14-year-old George Soros in and swear that he was his Christian godson. But survival carried a heavy price tag. While hundreds of thousands of Hungarian Jews were being shipped off to the death camps, George Soros accompanied his phony godfather on his appointed rounds, confiscating property from the Jews. These are pictures from 1944 of what happened to George.
Okay, so the left, and this is the reason why I'm trying to show you who George Soros is, because it gives you context. This might be belaboring the point here, but I want to give you the evidence on another video. The thing is this. The left will tell you that George Soros is a philanthropist, that he's a good guy. No, he's not. He's absolutely evil incarnate, period. Okay, he's a vile individual. Okay, he is the consummate racist, period. He has a history. They'll tell you that he didn't do anything with the Nazis. Why? Because they're trying to call people that aren't Antifa Nazis. That's the beauty of their evil, their wordsmithing. Okay, that's the thing that you guys have to understand.
You're a Hungarian Jew who escaped the Holocaust by posing as a Christian.
Right.
And you watched lots of people get shipped off to the death camps.
Right. I was 14 years old. And I would say that that's when my character was made.
In what way?
That one should think ahead, one should understand and anticipate events.
So that's when his character was formed, okay? And I want you to understand something. The Holocaust occurred, okay? The evil people and Nazis killed a bunch of Jews. But I want you to also go back to the Bolsheviks. And people don't understand that atheist Zionists killed far more millions of people prior to this. It's an uncomfortable fact because people want to claim victimization and they will say, oh, you're being anti-Semitic. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is I'm repeating history. Go look it up and research it, okay? Karl Marx was an atheist Jew. Lenin, atheist Jew. Okay, Stalin, atheist Jew. George Soros, atheist Jew. They have a playbook. That's what they do, okay? Again, it's uncomfortable because you're probably finding that what you've been told is not true. I'm asking you to go research. Don't believe me. You have to understand. History, data, and precedent will set you free. It will give you the balanced understanding.
One is threatened. It was a tremendous threat of evil. I mean, it was a very personal experience of evil.
My understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes, yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe as a child you don't see the connection, but it created no problem at all.
No feeling of guilt.
No.
For example, that I'm Jewish, and here I am watching these people go. I could just as easily be there. I should be there. None of that.
Well, of course, I could be on the other side, or I could be the one from whom the thing is being taken away.
See, here's the point. I won't belabor it. Go watch the video. It's the George Soros video on 60 Minutes. He has no remorse or whatever, okay? He was a Nazi, plain and simple. 14 years old. You know what you're doing, okay? That's the upshot, okay? So it is an absolute terrible, heinous guy who is funding, running, and fueling the hate in our country, okay? That's the big thing about this. You got to understand, you know, it's simple, 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 okay? What we've got going on here, okay, is a situation of big propaganda, and every one of you people out there who are listening to this, you got suckered and duped with the black square. You fell for it, okay? And the bottom line is that this is the useful idiots that those people refer to in history, okay? They're trying to divide us to play into the hands of our greatest enemies, okay? That's exactly what this is. 100%, no questions about it, okay? So let's keep going here because I want to show you a couple of other things. Because at the end of the day, it gets frustrating. Well, what do we do? Okay? Well, guess what? The hammer's getting ready to drop. And I take tremendous comfort in it. Okay? So, the scuttlebutt is, of course, that reports were that the 82nd Airborne Division paratroopers forward deployed to Washington, D.C., sources say. Okay? Now, just so you know, I grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay? That is home of the 82nd Airborne. When they got deployed back in the day, the whole place just ghost town. Matter of fact, I used to date Colonel Hightower, his daughter. He was the commander of Special Forces at the time out there on Bragg. She was 6'2", and I was only 5'8". It's pretty funny, and her last name, Hightower. Anyway, so I won't say first names. But anyways, so I grew up there in North Carolina. I grew up there around the 82nd Airborne. These people are bad as, okay? That's just the way that works. In order for them to be deployed, it takes some doing. It doesn't happen overnight. But guess what? These riots just happened. These folks, they're already in D.C. So that means our administration, President Trump, my president, your president, had the wherewithal to mobilize because we're going to drop the hammer. These people are going down, okay? I'm telling you, notifying or designating Antifa as a terrorist organization now opens up a lot of ability legally and federally, okay? They can seize assets, bank accounts, communications, a lot of stuff. So we're getting ready to drop the hammer on George Soros, the leftists, the Democrats. They're getting it. Right now, that dirtbag Rosenstein is before the federal judiciary having to testify. Yesterday, when everybody was putting up that black square, a federal judge determined that Hillary Clinton is going to be compelled to testify. They don't want you guys seeing that stuff, okay? Because they're busted. The Obamagate stuff, all of it, it's coming to a head. So we've hit rock bottom. We got a couple tough more months, but it's coming. All right, so the great news is when these bad boys and girls go rolling up and coming around, we got some cool stuff coming. So that's that one, okay? Fort Bragg soldiers, here's another one. Fort Bragg soldiers deployed to Washington as Trump considers using U.S. military to quell protesters. Okay, look at that date. That was Blackout Tuesday. Okay, so the media is presenting it. So, all these weird ads. So take comfort, Balance Nation, okay? The posse's coming. Now, here's what's funny, okay? They don't want this. They keep trying and pressing for it. I am not a fan, okay, of U.S. troops being used against American citizens. There's some legal stuff in there. There's some context. You have to understand. They're going to deploy and handle hot spots of these terrorists. It's not like they're going to be going through and locking people in their houses and doing crap like that picture of the National Guard that you saw, and I forgot what state that was in, shooting pepper bullets, at people on their porches. That's against the Constitution. I do not support that, and I hope to goodness somebody finds out who that unit was and who pulled the trigger and shot that pellet to a citizen standing in their front doorway. I don't know if you guys will show that in another video. Anyways, the comfort that we have to understand here is this. Stop virtue signaling. It doesn't afford people anything. You've never done anything for the black community, okay? The black former police chief who was murdered, of course, guess what? The left is not talking anything about him at all. None. They don't want you guys to know that their narrative is blowing up in their face, okay? And who am I talking about? Okay? I'm talking about, his name is David Dorn. Okay? This guy was murdered. Imbalance Nation, I did a post on it yesterday. You can go down and, viewer discretion is advised. I actually put the video of him dead and dying, holding his cell phone. His cell phone is still on. So if anybody is disgusted at the murder of George Floyd, you must be just disgusted at the murder of this gentleman also. Okay? That's the grim reality. Okay? It's time to wake the flip up. Stop not calling these people out who they are, okay? That whole social group think, Black Tuesdays, okay, backing Black Lives Matter, everybody who posted that was an idiot. Yes, if you're my friend and I love you, you were a buffoon, an absolute idiot. Shame on you because you didn't do your homework. But you can recover. As everybody makes mistakes. That's totally fine. Correct it. Absolutely correct it. Okay? Black Lives Matter movement is not for black people. Okay? You're not supporting black Americans or their struggles. We all struggle. I have a history and a rich, background of struggle that I'm not going to go sharing here because I don't need to. Well, you're white, so it was easy for you. Oh, okay. The bottom line here is this. There is no greater good than to serve all people and to understand that all lives matter. Anybody who says Black Lives Matter, you're a racist, period. You think that black should have special super treatment. That's not true, period. And I'm not saying that because of the color of my skin, okay? What I'm saying is because I stand for truth and righteousness. That's it, okay? All these clowns, like I showed earlier, there's tons of them, The reason why I showed Chris Winfield is because of the fact that he's the connection guy. And he never connects anybody. From what seems to me, he's promoting people who want to tell people how to be, white coaches and how to talk. What a joke. That's vile and disgusting. Okay, that's like doing a group call or training on black coaches how to talk to your white clients. What in the world? Oh my God. Okay, here's what these riots have shown us. Okay, if you can riot in person, guess what? You can vote in person. That's how that works. So, it's one of those things where the left changes their argument to suit their control and fear narrative, right? All the protesters that were protesting against the lockdowns, that were marching, nothing got burned, no one got shot. Okay, there were no bricks delivered, there was no destruction of property, and they weren't wearing masks, and the left freaked out. But no, all of these guys, my goodness, okay? These terrorists, okay, are Black Lives Matter. That's who they are, okay? Virtue signaling is aligning yourself with them, plain and simple. That's just the way that works. So, the hammer's getting ready to be dropped. Hang in there. You guys are going to see some things here in the coming days that might make you feel uncomfortable, okay? I don't like the thought of troops in uniform, who I support the military, all the ones that support their oath to the Constitution, because you know what? Check this out. Leavenworth Prison is filled with former people who were in the military, okay? People that you would call heroes just because they wore the uniform? No. They broke the law. They did crimes, okay? Rape, murder, all that kind of stuff, and now they're in jail for it, okay? So I don't give any blanket get out of jail free card to anybody. I don't care if you have a whole bunch of medals on your chest. If you go and do stupid stuff, and you harm other people, steal, rape, pillage, or do anything like that, you erase that past. You don't get a get out of jail free card because you were once a hero. So my point is this, I don't like that. So it might be scary to some of you guys. Don't be fearful, okay? It's going to be more than okay. This is the refiner's fire, okay? This is how you take rough ore that's all jacked up and you put it through the fire in these refining processes so we can come out golden on the other end, okay? It's the pressure that turns carbon into diamonds. You have to realize it's going to be fine as long as we stand up for truth and for things that are righteous. Plain and simple, okay? I know how these things play out. They play out and we win. That's how it works. Good will triumph over evil, but boy, you're going to have some dark times before it happens, okay? But I'm not fearful at all. I'm tremendously comforted because I'm seeing online also in my researching that we're winning the argument. We now have more video footage out there, people having access to putting things and posting them, even despite the censorship. So it's getting around. There's all kinds of things that give me tremendous comfort. I don't like the military being deployed to our streets, but it's necessary so people don't get shot in the head, and so people's lives don't get shot by burning down their businesses, okay? There's no respect, no compassion for looters. I don't. They should be shot where they stand if they're breaking into your house. If they break into your house, they need to be dropped. If they're breaking into your business, they need to be dropped. Deadly force should be met with deadly force. And if you ain't got the stomach for that, okay, well then you need to reevaluate some things. Okay, that's the bottom line here. Okay, if somebody is attacking my children or my wife, I am not going to go, let's fix this with love. Please don't. We love you. Let me give you a hug. Let's hug it out. What's your struggle? Tell me. I'm listening. I'm muted. No, I'm going to remove his life or her life. That's what I'm going to do. You have to. You guys, I talk very specific, and I'm not going to flub-a-lub around things because this is social media. It's on the internet, okay? You get what you get with me. It's the same thing I tell you about your health, okay? If you are morbidly obese, it's your damn fault. It's because your environment, lifestyle, mindset, nutrition sucks. That's the truth, okay? If you have ongoing chronic disease, it's because you've done things to bring you there. It wasn't your genes. It wasn't your parents' fault. It's not. It's your choice. That's it, okay? I don't give any quarter to the BS of people being victims. You have ultimate access to information. You do. Okay? If you want help in figuring some of that stuff in the realms of health and wellness and mindset and environment and lifestyle, reach out. Invest in some of my training programs. Okay? I'm a shameless, capitalist. There it is. Programs.balanceprotocol.com. You can go and do the Balance Protocol Prime program for free. There's so many of you in Balance Nation who haven't done that yet. What are you holding up on? Okay, you know why you probably haven't? Because I don't advertise and push and market all that crap. Anyways, so the bottom line is get a spine, grow up, be tough. Okay, my other fellow parents out there, you know how it is. Oh my gosh, a mom or dad kicking in protection of their kids. Woo, that's important. Well, guess what? Take that same fuel and protect our country and the Constitution and the rule of law. Don't support these people. There's no such thing, okay, is disproportionate this or that, privilege this or that. That's all stuff and constructs from the left to fool you, to make you fall for their dupings. That's all it really is. The great news is the hammer's getting ready to drop. Okay, we have a fantastic attorney general. We have a fantastic president. And we're going to get it on. The time is now, and it's coming. It's going to be a rough couple of things. But you know what? This is Wake the Flip Up Wednesday. That's what it is. Wake up the Flip Up Wednesday. All right, so let's look at some of the comments. If you guys got some questions, got a few more minutes here because I try to keep these things to right about 60 to 70 minutes because of upload time, anything like that. So let's go to the tail of the tape. Deborah says, when a lot of people jump on the bandwagon, I walk the other way. Amen. That's your clue. I love you, Deborah. Don't know you, but I love you. I'm going to tell you I love you. Is that a picture of with you with a puppy dog? That's awesome. All right, so here's the deal. That's exactly correct, okay? That's your clue. When everybody starts doing it and jump on the bandwagon, go to context and look at it, okay? First of all, seek to whatever. Same thing with me. I'm not saying, hey, listen, just go do all this. I am asking you to share this message with people. I don't mind the controversy, okay? Because this is my opinion. Okay, that's what free speech is about. Okay, so Cindy says incitement is criminal. That's exactly right. It totally is. You can't, the famous, you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. Okay, why is it you can't yell fire in a movie theater? What can you in a church? Can you in school? Yeah, try to pull that crap in a casino. You see Vegas here lately? Oh my gosh. Well, I just showed you, a pathetic individual who shot somebody in the head the other day, but you're not clamoring about all that kind of stuff. Should all the non-Hispanic people be all clamoring and burning down and going to those, and doing stuff? No, it's ridiculous. Misty says, can you share his info or link so I can follow and see? Not sure who you mean, Misty, but here's the thing. If you can just go back and watch this video, you'll be able to see it, okay? And this will be on youtube.com, okay? Until I get censored, /balanced protocol. Now, when you guys are over there, let me do the proverbial statement. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Okay, hit the notification bell so you'll get these every time they post. Isn't that cool? So that little notification bell, you hit subscribe, but then you hit the little notification, and it'll send you an email with my little picture on it. Okay, and show you that. Okay, so share that with other people. That'd be great. Okay, and same thing, Colin. You asked for share the link. Just look in the video up at the top. You'll see it up in the URL bar. Okay. Dr. Wasserman says you're right on again. Thank you. Okay. He says he's never politically correct and never will because I love all who love back. That's exactly right, man. I mean, ain't nobody going to out and give or love me. Anybody who truly knows me, that's the day what it is. Okay. Do you care to share if we share these? Share all of these, Trisha, please. By default, okay? Do that. Okay? Today I'm drinking out of my mug. Those of you who know me intimately, this mug has a very special story. Very special story. And I'll tell you this. This was what I had to go get after I was escorted out of my own practice, betrayed by my best friend, and I lost my medical practice. Okay? Up in another state. Anyways. And guess what? They weren't white. Should I be mad at all people who are not white for losing all that stuff? Anyways, that's the symbol for a heart. Anyways, that's why I was drinking out of it today. A little symbolism, a little iconography. All right. Stephen says Soros and Clinton are in bed. Of course they are. That's why I showed them together. They're all of the same ideology. Okay? Unbelievable. Dewey says, Steve Wasserman, good that point out, allow him to come to their country and do business. Exactly. This is a guy who meddles in the elections. He even owns the equipment as part of the elections, guys. Did you know that? You got to go look it up. You got to see it, okay? All right. So here's another really cool thing. I was just going to show you guys in just another, you can go see that President Trump moves military forces to near wartime alert level in D.C. So this is confirming, all right? So let's see what he says here.
That for George and his family, justice will be served. He will not have died in vain. But we cannot allow the righteous cries and peaceful protesters to be drowned out by an angry mob. The biggest victims of the rioting are peace-loving citizens in our poorest communities. And as their president, I will fight to keep them safe. I will fight to protect you. I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters. That is why I am taking immediate presidential action to stop the violence and restore security and safety in America. I am mobilizing all available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting, to end the destruction and arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property. We are putting everybody on warning. Our 7 o'clock curfew will be strictly enforced. Those who threaten innocent life and property will be arrested, detained, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I want the organizers of this terror to be on notice that you will face severe criminal penalties and lengthy sentences in jail. This includes Antifa and others who are leading instigators of this violence.
All right, that should give you a tremendous amount of comfort. It does me, okay? So here's the thing, just another stuff I'm going to leave you with, all right? There's been some interesting stuff going on at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, the detention center there, okay? Just dropping little crumbs. Because the question is where are these people going to go? That's where they're going to go, okay? That's what you'll see. because a lot of these douchebags are going to be arrested and detained based under this federal auspice and being an enemy combatant. And those people, they don't get to go to Rikers Island. They don't get to go to Leavenworth. They might go to Leavenworth later, but they're going to go to Cuba. They're going to get a free flight over to there, and it's on. Okay? Go look that one up. Anyways, Trisha, you asked me a question. If you owned a business in a mall that has been closed for a long time now, would you cut your losses now and get out? Now it's boarded up. Husband is an optometrist and run the retail part, 27 years. Oof, boy, that breaks my heart. Don't make me tear up, damn it. All right. That's a personal question, and there's a lot of context there. I would not be able to, give you an honest, intellectual, or educated opinion on what you should do in the absence of knowing more about you, your life, your financial situation, things like that. Okay? There are some times where you got to cut bait and leave. There are some times where you stand your ground and you fight. Okay? I would tell you though because I don't know if you know, Trisha, but I train other clinicians. That's principally what I do. Is I teach people how to build health consulting practices using Balance Protocol by an intensive preceptorship that you train with me, personally. The thing is this: I wouldn't own a business that is in a location that kind of stuff would happen. You have to be independent. I understand the lure of being access into a mall and the people and stuff, and that's I get it. But I am always going to be an advocate of people being a commander of their own destiny and things like that. Okay, and in the day and age that we're at now, that's even more important. Now, optometrists can't really do their job virtually, so you have to have a brick and mortar location. It's a tough one. I can't answer the question on that, but I will always advocate for you to be independent and not have somebody board you out of your business that you're renting and leasing and stuff like that. Not a fan. Okay. You're in California, so you said in another comment. Yeah. Oof, you guys can take back California. You absolutely can. But you guys got to rise up and you got to get educated and you need to stand for some stuff. It's the same thing. Okay. All right, you guys, I am getting ready to go and do what I call some jump. One of the cool businesses here in Central Florida. Have you guys ever been to a trampoline place? Talk about fantastic exercise and cardio and working muscles that you never get to use. That's what I'm going to go today. And what I love about them is they said, no, we're back up and we ain't doing those stupid masks and we're not doing any of that other kind of crap. They clean the facility anyways, because you're in there with socks and stuff and bouncing around, and they've got like little pits and climbing walls and obstacle courses and basketball hoops and dodgeball courts and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. When times of struggle and strife are miring you in sadness and woe, here's what you do. Okay? I'm about solutions. Number one, change your location. Okay, that will change your state of mind. Just get out of the house. Okay. Second thing is, if you can get out and then go do something and play. Have a good time. Be silly. Move the body and laugh. It's one of the best neutralizers ever. Okay. So that's my call to action for you guys today. No matter where you're at, rain, shine, or sunshine, get off of the social media. Watch this video. Post it. Share it to everybody, and then get the hell out and go have some fun. And on my Instagram, I'll be posting a little bit of that so you guys can see that. Okay, so this is Wake the Flip Up Wednesday, and I'm out.